I just think they don't really know what's going to happen to them. We got to fight at the end of the day. Dude, this isn't the WWE. This is a real fight. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to get a hold of you. I'm going to get you on the ground. I'm going to beat the crap out of you. We're going to fight, and you have no idea what I'm going to do to you. I just love it. It's just really fun. And I think in those moments, I'm so present. It's almost happening in slow motion.
Temecula, California.
My mom always says, don't sweat the small stuff. You know what? It's all small stuff.
Is this thing on?
This is OverDogs Podcast.
Welcome to episode 4 of OverDogs Podcast, the drinking, betting, fighting, dumb shit show. I'm your host, Bagz. We got Sam Alvey. We got Mac Malley. How's it going, boys?
Oh, feeling wonderful, my friend. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain. Mac?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Yeah.
So, big show tonight. Bo Nickal. We got him for, I said 10 minutes earlier, but Mac said it was definitely 17. Because he timed it from the last show. So we got both the whole show today. Obviously coming off a huge win. Stunning kind of, I don't want to say stunning everybody, but stunning a lot of people with the way he won that fight. So we got plenty to talk to. I know Sam does for sure. Let's talk about 291 a little bit, because that was the last show with Mighty Mouse. Sam, give me your thoughts. Anything like surprising on 291 that you thought?
All right, so I called that card perfectly. It would have been perfect had the judges not screwed me on the Jan Blachowicz fight. He won that fight.
Come on.
Here we go.
He won that fight, and I stand before that card. I said Alex is never going to win again at
you did.
in the UFC. Wrestling is so atrocious, and he proved it. His wrestling is garbage. He didn't have a guillotine. He thought he did. He was taken down 3 times in the fight, held down every time. And Jan still lost. Jan had top control for over 8 minutes of that 15-minute fight, and they still found a way to give to Alex.
Mac.
One of these days, Sam's gonna beat my ass. But I picked Jan, but nah, bro. Like at the end, I was like, that could go either way. I just think he fucked himself in that first round. In that third round, even though he got that last takedown, I don't feel like he did enough. Again, I'm not a judge. And he out-wrestled the shit out of him. Fuck yeah, he did. Yeah, that too. But it's like,
I'm saying he won the stand-up in round 3. The only round that I might have given to Alex was round 2. But even then, Jan took him down for 2.5 minutes.
It was one of those ones, man. It's just after I was like, I feel like it's going to go to Alex just because optics. Just optics. You look at the stats and it doesn't look. I feel like Jan looked defeated. Again, like I don't look back and judge fights like I'm a judge. I don't really mind either way. Again, I picked Jan as well, but I felt like that one was going to go to Pereira just based off optics, like pride rules type stuff. Like, yeah, Jan had the far more. He racked up stats, takedowns, all that stuff.
I want to say this. Sam covered his ass here because I had this on my checklist of things to say, right? Sam Alvey said Alex Pereira would never fucking win again in the UFC.
I stand by it.
He's already won.
No, the judges, they're hiring blind people for judges in the UFC.
So, Sam, you don't think Alex is a threat at 205 with his size and his striking? Like we all knew Jan would out wrestle him, right? But he looked pretty good on his fucking feet.
He can't stand up. Everybody should take him down from here on out. Everyone just take him down because it's not hard. I'm not a wrestler, and I would take his ass down and hold on to him. I think the elevation got to Jan. I think it was 5,000 feet, so something like that. And I don't think Jan was ready for that. So he put everything into round 1, and he gassed himself. By round 3, Alex was gassed too. But at the end of the fight, Jan stood up and Alex laid down for a little bit longer. The elevation, and it does play a difference. I fought in Mexico City twice, Colorado once. The elevation does make a difference.
I believe it makes a difference. I just think they're both fighting in it.
You are 100%. That's the thing. It's like you're both fighting in it, and I do think it makes a difference because I like to ski, and whenever I first fly into like Park City or wherever to go skiing, and I'm bringing my beers all the way up the steps, I'm gassed by the time I get to the room. So I know it plays a fucking difference. I know it does. I tell you the most surprising one to me, or the most impressive, I'll say. Go ahead, Sam.
was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say you're bringing your beers to the top of the mountain.
No, just the top of the fucking steps, and I'm gassed.
I do that, bro.
Okay.
You get off the lift at the top, you dig a little hole next to one of the trees up there, and you plant some beers in there. So every time you come back down, grab yourself.
Damn
a brew
right.
on the way. That's right.
Sometimes you find some stragglers over there, in your beer section.
Yeah, dude. You'll find a lot of shit.
But I tell you, probably the most impressive one to me, man, was the very first fight. The way Kevin Holland manhandled fucking Chiesa, I was shocked.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't fucking
I called
around,
the commissioner about 3 minutes before it came. It was just there. It was just there, and then he got the Darce, going at the end of the round, and it's like, yeah, it was destined to happen.
Okay, you have 7 minutes of control time from Jan. That's significant. That's nearly that.
It wasn't 7 even.
It was 7.5 minutes. So that's dead ass half of the fight.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes is a lot more than 7.
Shit, I'd be convinced with 7, but 3 out of 8 takedowns, so he stuffed 5. And total strikes 112 to 82, significance 52 to 70. So
it's not a huge difference in strikes.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, from the eye test, casual fan eye test,
it looked like Pereira.
I was like, Alex won it.
That's the way I think I'd judge it, honestly. Just like
round 2 was the only round that I really noticed and how tired Jan was. Round 3, he outstruck Alex.
I didn't think Jan was going to be able to finish the fight. He was so exhausted.
Wait, no, he outlanded him in the 3rd round.
Well, look, he lost the fucking fight, Sam. I mean, what else can we say? He lost the fight. You said I had a perfect card. I had a perfect card, and Alex would never win again. And then you said I'm right because the judges fucked it up.
The judges are wrong. Yes, I'm right. I'm right.
That's always my favorite. That's always my favorite.
Oh.
He didn't lose though. I mean, dude, but even just fans do that. They go,
Sam,
well, he didn't lose to him, and you go,
better right now. He sounds like the typical football better, the typical UFC better. Like, I won, but the refs screwed me. Hey guys, we got Bo in. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
All right, get Bo in here. Bo can settle this for us.
What's up, boys?
How you doing, Bo?
I'm good. Y'all.
Bo, pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat it up. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I don't think we've announced this publicly, but welcome to the Pandas. That hasn't been a public announcement, but let's fucking go, boys. Bo Nickel, the newest Panda.
Yeah.
Represent.
We're gonna do some collabs with Scrap Life, Bo's brand, and Pandas, and get something going there. So I'm excited about that, man. I guess first off, man, congratulations on the baby on the way. Huge deal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're real excited. My wife's 20 weeks now, so halfway, and it's getting more and more real every day.
The good thing is you can call me or Sam at any point. Sam has 14 kids. I've got 3. Sam's got like 14 to 17 kids, something like that, Sam.
Yeah, you guys should all know. You'll be the first people to know. Right now, my wife is not pregnant. You guys are the first
breaking
people to know
news.
that, so.
Breaking news.
Over the last 10 years, it would have.
Holy shit.
All right, so Bo, we were just talking about UFC 291 a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything surprising on that card? We were talking about like how good Holland looked with choking Chiesa out. We talked a little bit about. All right, so Sam says here was verbatim. Sam said I called that card perfectly, and I said Alex Pereira would never win again in the UFC. And I was 100% right, except the judges fucked it up, and he still thinks he's right somehow.
I don't know. I mean, when I look at it,
They just screwed me. Oh,
I don't know. It was a close fight. I feel like it was a close fight. So, to me, obviously, Jan won the first round easily. There's nobody can debate that. I think Pereira won the second round. And then I think that if Jan would have just taken him down and landed like 3 punches, there would have been no question. But he didn't. So he left enough question in the minds of people who, to be fair, probably aren't. They're judging MMA. That doesn't mean they're experts in the sport. So there was enough in my mind to where it was questionable. And I mean, they want Pereira to win that fight. So people. It just the striking. Whenever there's like a toss up of, all right, this guy dominated the grappling, but this guy dominated the striking, they're gonna give the nod to the striking guy. In my opinion, I just feel like that's just how the judges trend. So,
Did you know round 3, Jan outstruck him? Round 3, Jan outstruck him. Landed more by the numbers. He
threw more. He was 9 short.
I'm not gonna, Mac. I know you and I aren't gonna fight Sam over this fucking decision. If Jan won the fight, Sam, Jan won the fight. You had a perfect card. You're still right. Alex still hasn't won another UFC fight and may never win one again. So you're right, Sam.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It reminds me of that. Was it Uriah Faber or Dominic Cruz, or was it about their fight where he's like, "Check the record, bud"? Who was that? I think it was Uriah. Uriah. Because someone was saying the same thing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Bo? It was either Dom or Uriah.
It was Dom, I believe, because I think Dom beat him like every time they fought. So I would assume that.
Yeah, and he blamed the judges, and he was like, "Check the record, bud." Yeah. All right. Anyway.
I mean, it's 100% true, right? And it's true across all sports. It's not just fucking fighting. Like, it's football, it's NBA, whatever. Like, yeah, you should have won, but guess what? You threw a 98-yard interception return for a touchdown. So you lost fucking game. You know what I mean? Like, you still lost.
There are really no moral victories, in sports, to me at least. I've never felt that way. I mean, of course, different people will feel differently, but I'm here to win. On the judges' scorecard, in my mind, on everybody's mind. So, the moral victories, somebody else can have those.
Absolutely. Anything that surprised you on that card, or that you were like really impressed with?
I was really surprised with the main event, Gaethje Poirier. I felt like, obviously Dustin's a teammate, a guy I see train a lot. I watch a lot of film on both guys. So, I saw the first round going, close. I saw it pretty much going the way it did, and then I just figured Dustin was going to pick up steam as the fight went along and then get a third, fourth round finish. So, the fact that I think Gaethje came out very conservative relative to how he normally fights, but in a calculated way. He wasn't like conservative, afraid to get hit or taken down. He was, I mean, to me, the way he fought was very impressive. I felt like he was pretty much, on point on the first round, and then obviously was able to land a really big shot, which in MMA, that's it, right? Like, you're not coming back from that. And so, hats off to Justin. I think that he set himself up very well moving forward to, again, fight for the belt, fight Islam or Charles, whoever wins that fight. And I mean, he's improving. To me, he's improved a lot. Just based off that fight, I think we can see that Justin Gaethje is a much, much better fighter than what we've seen in the past. And, and at the same time, I think Dustin's going to bounce back, right? Like, he's had stuff like this happen before, but, he'll bounce back and he'll be fine too. But crazy stuff happens, man. Crazy stuff.
It was. Man. It was good. It was a great card. Like Holland, choking out Chiesa was phenomenal. Like, great start. And then fucking Derek Lewis coming in at 265 with abs and doing a flying knee. Like,
I heard that there were 2 decisions or something, or 2 or 3 decisions on that entire card, from early prelims through main card. It's like, when has that ever happened? That's insane, So
it happened. It's only happened like twice ever. It was all finishes, but that one came close.
What's funny is the card that Bo was on was like, I think they said the 4 or 5 was like the quickest knockouts under a minute and a half or something like that, wasn't it? There was some kind of record there.
Yeah, and one thing that was really cool about that was, Robbie Lawler, 38-second knockout, and then me, 38-second back, right? Like, the last fight in his career, very, the beginning of mine, and to go out with the same amount of time in back-to-back fights too, because he was main event on the prelims, and I was, opening the main card. So that was just insane. I can't imagine what that felt like as a fan watching in the crowd. You just see Robbie Lawler go knock some dude out, and then you see me, boom, do it back to back. They're probably having a good night.
You were the 5th first round, like under half a round KO on that card. And by the way, dude, good Lord, bro, that upper, you didn't have to do all that, man. That was violent as fuck, bro. It was sick, bro. I was geeking. So yeah, I can confirm fans were pretty freaking out about that.
Thanks, bro.
I was.
You knew.
Dude, I watched that
was.
breakdown you did on someone's channel where you literally walked it through. You're not even looking at the fucking screen. You remember every nanosecond of that fight and why you did what you did. And I tweeted something about saying, I think it's rare fighters have that type of recollection about a fight because a lot of times they go, fuck, I don't even remember. Something happened. Did you learn that? Because I was like, no, I think Bo's a little bit different. I think he literally does remember it. I don't think you had time to go back, even though it's 38 seconds, to study the tape move for move. I feel like you are cerebral enough. You actually remember what you go through. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% correct. And for me, I've always been like that with my wrestling matches. And, I could probably walk back and remember most, if not all of the wrestling matches in my NCAA career, a lot of my matches in high school. And even I still remember matches when I was a kid. So, I think that's partly just being a student of the sport, partly just always studying and really kind of being all in what I do. And also I just love it. It's just really fun for me. And I think in those moments, I'm so present, I think that it's almost as things are happening, it's happening in slow motion. Like I felt that like when I saw in my first fight, just seeing the reactions of my opponents and then being able to kind of read them, being able to take advantage of whatever mistake they're making, it's happening in slow motion. And because I have great coaches and great training, then, good stuff happens. And that's kind of how it felt in this last one. I saw a few things, made a few adjustments in the first 10, 15 seconds. And then after I knew he was dropping that lead hand, worrying about the takedown, just came right over top with the hook. And it was kind of funny because after that, it was so many decisions in my mind and in the span of 0.1 seconds. All right, am I going to stay back and kind of be measured? Is this like the time to go for it? And then I'm like, should I throw a punch? Should I throw a kick? Should I throw a knee? What's the move here? And then the training takes over. So, the work, since I'm southpaw, I fight a lot of orthodox fighters. The straight left hand is my number one punch, number one attack that I use. It's just a great weapon. So then that's just kind of what came out, straight left hand. And then I knew I needed to, after I landed a straight left hand and a hook, I knew I needed to come back with something from a different angle to really put him out. So then that finish him off.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, Bagz. I'll just say this. It's really, really dope you say that you remember the call. Because when I tweeted that, a lot of people were like, dude, it was 38 seconds, happened 3 days ago. I'm like, you guys don't get what I'm talking about. Because you literally watch a fighter, watch it back. Ooh, I caught him sick with that. That was dope. Oh, yeah, they don't remember. It's like, no, Bo's different, I promise. And then someone in the comments goes, dude, he can, like, literally remember step by step his college wrestling. So there, verification. I was right. Bo is built different.
What I'm bad at, what I don't remember is honestly names. I'm like freaking terrible with names,
I'm in the same boat, man. I'm in the same boat. But I got a couple of questions for you because that fight, and I remember I felt really bad for you because your opponent withdrew, and I was like, oh, he's not going to get a fight, right? And then you got Val to step in, and we had just had Mike on the episode right like a couple of days before this fight. And Mike was like, yo, I've trained with Val, and the guy has a fucking right hand like Mike Tyson. He's like, I'm not saying he'll catch Bo, but I'm saying he's got a right hand that if he catches anybody on the planet, they're going to go to sleep, right? So now all of a sudden you get thrown into this situation where it's like, new guy, he's a heavy hitter. What is the mentality of that? Does it change, or is it just like, fuck it, this is what I've been training for, I'm going to do it anyway? And here's my follow-up to that. Was there any kind of thing in your head where you said, you know what, I know I can take this guy down and choke him out and beat him on the ground, but I want to do it differently just for shits and giggles? Right.
So I think initially my reaction to having my opponent withdraw was that I wasn't going to get a fight. I thought there's no way I'm going to get somebody to accept this fight. And at the same time, I told myself, going into MMA, I'm not really interested in doing these short notice fights. Like I'm not interested really in stepping into short notice fights. I'm not really interested in last minute changes of opponents because to me, I'm a professional. I train very seriously, and I'm spending a lot of time and effort and, to go out there and perform my best. And if weird things happen that are going to throw that off, then, I'm not just a guy that's going out there to get a check. It doesn't mean anything to me to get a check. So I'm fighting to compete, to win. And so that's, again, another reason, like I said, I just assumed that I wasn't going to get a fight. And so then they tell me, all right, we got this guy that agreed to fight you. He's 7-0. He's got 5 finishes. And initially I'm like, all right, well, let's see the film, let's see what he looks like. And I definitely saw, a lot of danger with his power and what he could do. But to me, he wasn't so different from my opponent that I felt like it made that big a difference. And I also felt like just very confident in my abilities and what I can do out there. And so a couple of my coaches kind of didn't like it. They weren't really 100% on board, but it was my decision at the end of the day. And so I called Malky. That this was all Monday night. So I had basically the night sleep on it. For the morning, I was like, yo, let's run it. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. They sent me over the bout agreement. I signed. And then from there, I watched some film on him. I watched all his fights, make sure I'm prepared. When I went out there, I was very loose, very relaxed, very confident. I think that I had a certain expectation of what he would do. He was trying to counter me, trying to be measured. And so I had to make an adjustment in my game plan. And I really felt like I was just setting up a takedown. I'm setting it up to take him down, setting him up to get him on the ground, because that's my game at the end of the day. But I guess I'm got some power too. So I hit him flush and it was over. But I just feel like that's kind of how I compete. That's kind of just how I am. I'm a good athlete. I just go for it. And so it worked. I think that all my training I was able to show some stuff there. And going in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this dude down, choke him out, easy money. And then, ended up knocking him out. And that's just, I think, a testament to my coaches and working on the hands a little bit.
Yeah, you're being humble as fuck right now, but like that had to feel great, bro. You're knocking out the power puncher in front of everybody. Like that has to be a phenomenal feeling, right? Because people didn't expect that out of your game, and it's like, all right, now we know, like, Bo's got hands.
I'm here to fight, and I think that's something that was really the advice. What made me realize that is actually funny. So before my first amateur fight, I trained for 4 weeks for my first amateur fight, and I was just excited to get in there. And so I'm getting ready to fight. It's like an hour away, and my dad's in the locker room with me. And my dad just says, hey, he was a college football player and wrestling coach and stuff. And he just tells me, hey, I know I'm not a pro fighter or anything. So I don't know necessarily 100% what I'm talking about, but I've been in a few fights, and you don't go out there and think about what you're going to do. Just do it. And don't go out. He was basically just saying, don't go out there and be hesitant. Just go out there and win the fight. And I've taken that advice. Honestly, psychologically, that's been the best advice that I've gotten for fighting, because I think that's why I've gone 5 professional fights, 2 amateur fights, and I haven't even gotten hit, is because I'm going out there. I'm not going out there to do techniques. I'm not going out there to try to do techniques. I'm going out there to fight. And that's why you see stuff like that happen where, I knock this dude out cold, because I train, obviously a certain way. And that's going to come out if you're training to, or if you have the right mentality in competition. I think I see some guys come out there and they're either get nervous and they just shoot. They don't know. They're just like, I got to get him on the ground. Or they're trying to do techniques. They're like, all right, I'm going to fake the jab and throw a low kick. And then you see him do it. And then some dude just bones, just crushes him. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'm not really trying to get hit. I'm trying to win this fight. And so, I think that's why I'm able to perform the way I have, because I just let the instincts take over.
So this is what I thought of right after the fight. And I'm going to harp on this fight a little bit, because the knockout was so fucking impressive, right? And if you're not a fight fan, it's like, oh, it's just a knockout. If you're a fight fan, you realize how impressive it was. And Roy Jones Jr. always says, your hands are only as fast as your feet.
I was going to say, bro, he gets in and out so fast.
And The way that you got in and out with your feet, bro, he didn't have a fucking chance to even, by the time you were out, he was trying to counter. And then you were back in, right? Like he didn't stand a chance. Your feet were so fast, in and out, in and out, in and out. And it was like every punch was thrown with a purpose and landed where it needed to land. And it was just super impressive.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it was kind of funny because I definitely
your years of wrestling, man, the way you were able to slide out and slide back in with I mean, it was almost like you were going to take that shot on your way back in, but you came back up with the hook. It was brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You know, I think that I knew everything that happened with the fight, right? Like kind of looking back on, you know, what do you call it? Looking back on it to kind of recap it. But what did surprise me was the first video I saw, I was just like, damn, I'm fast. Like, whoa, that was so fast. I don't even know how he could have even done anything about that. That was one thing that did surprise me. But yeah, I mean, I've done sports all my life. I didn't just wrestle, and I've always been a good athlete. You know, I feel like if I would have played football or lacrosse or baseball or any of those sports, I could have done it at a very high level professionally. And so, you know, I think that I'm able to do some things. I've got some God-given gifts that I'm able to use and display, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But at the end of the day, you know, it's mostly technique. It's mostly reps and reps of moving a certain way. And it is really interesting because you never hit somebody like that in a sparring in training. I'm never trying to knock my sparring partner out. You know, I'm in 8-ounce big padded gloves or in boxing gloves. And so when you do that in a fight, I guess if you haven't fought it very much like me, you go into a fight and you do that, you do kind of have to be like, whoa, like, that was crazy. You know, I've only done that a couple times. And yeah, I'm getting better and better. And so hopefully it looks cooler, and I'll be able to do that to world-class strikers here before long.
So I do have a quick question here. Like your weight, how much do you cut? Are you a big cutter or are you not?
I would say no. You know, I always bumped up in wrestling and stuff. My freshman year, I was 174. I went up to 84 my sophomore, junior year, and my senior year, I finished at 97. So I never really cut a lot of weight in my wrestling career. And now for fighting, it's going to seem like a lot to the average person, but I weigh probably 205 to 207. And so I'm losing, 21, 22 pounds down to 85, 86. And so, but it comes off very easy. I have a great nutrition coach, great team that I work with to help me with all of that. And I've done it my whole life. So, like I said, I'm not a big cutter. It's not like I'm, Paulo Costa or Pereira, those guys coming down from 230, but I'm a good sized middleweight. I think I'm right on that perfect kind of descent to where it's enough, but it's not too much. And my cardio is not really affected, and I'm still very strong and very fast, and not going to get tired. But yeah, the weight cuts, they're not easy, but they're not insane.
Yeah, the reason I was saying that is because your speed was so fast for 185. Like it was lightning fast. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, whatever weight you're at, you don't need to go any more above that because you've got the power, you've already got the wrestling, and it's like you've got the knockout power, and the speed was just.
That was the first thing that blew my mind. Like you said, bro, I was gonna bring it up too. You had already checked his chin, and you're already so far out against an explosive striker. You're not even on. You're on second base already. Like that shit was mad crazy.
It was. We were going ham in my house, dude. We were sitting when that shit happened. My whole house, I had like 15 people over at the house. We were going crazy, and I'm getting texts, and they're like, "Bro, how is he this fucking fast? He's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Now he's got fucking hands, and he's that lightning fast. Like this is a major problem at 185. A major problem."
I guess the real question is who would you rather fight, Izzy or Strickland?
I don't really care, I hope it's a good fight. I hope they perform well at, and I think I would much rather fight. Strickland doesn't really have that name recognition, and he hasn't really done nearly as much as Adesanya, having defended his belt so many times and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I think that he's a great fighter. They're both great fighters, but I don't really really care who wins, but they're not going to be in that position for long, because that's going to be me, before too long. And I think that I'm not in a rush to get there, but with the way that everything's been happening and how much better I've been getting every day, that I think it's going to happen fairly soon.
Well,
so I've seen you say this quite a bit, right? Because you talked about like fighting KHAMZAT at Allegiant, but you've always been very calculated in saying, like, I'm in no rush to get there, right? Where most guys would want to fucking, they want the title fight right now. They want it right now. But you're very kind of calm in the way you approach this. Explain that mental process a little bit, because it's very different for most fighters or most athletes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think that I just have a different mindset. A lot of guys are they're fighting for much different reasons than what I'm fighting for. I think obviously there's a lot of people that are very motivated, that love fighting, that want to be champion. But I think that maybe they are a little unrealistic about their views on themselves, or maybe they're a little more motivated about the money, the status, the fame that comes with being at the top of the sport. To me, I'm in this for the long run, and I'm in this because I love fighting. I could do 20 other things that would probably make me more money and I would be way less stressed about, but I just love it. And, so I'm not looking to get in and get out. And I think some people, they're just motivated differently. I just want to get better every day. And that's even more important to me than winning the belt, than these goals. It's more important to me to just keep improving, keep getting better, and realize my full potential. And I don't even really know what that is at this point. I just set my goals to the absolute pinnacle of the sport, to the highest they could be, to being the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. But, and I'm never going to stop until I get that, but maybe it goes past that. Maybe it goes further than that. And to me, it's just how you do that is get better every day, improve, love what you do, enjoy it, and then the other stuff comes. So, the title fights, the main events, the sold out Allegiant stadiums, the incredible moments, those will all come, and I'm going to make the most of them. I'm going to be present and enjoy them. But most of my time is just grinding, working, having fun, training. That's what I'm doing 99% of the time. And then the 1% of the time that I get to show out, that's when all that stuff kind of just comes to fruition.
Matt, what you think?
I got like a kind of deep. I don't know if you'd say it's deep, but it's like, I don't know if you've ever been asked.
How deep we going?
I've never measured.
You layer?
All right.
Here's going underneath those shades.
You'll never know, man. You got. All right, but peep this. Essentially, what I'm curious from someone like you, your perspective. We have it's like the UFC people do not like a lot of fans. I mean, you get, just like anyone, you have haters, whatever. Everyone has haters. Ice Bagz has, I can't believe how many haters he has. But like, they feel like when the UFC pushes somebody because they're so elite or something, like you get preferred treatment. And so one thing I brought up after the fight, I was, always takes me like a day to really go over like a fight card and digest all the information I find interesting about it. And one of them was, I saw so much like appreciation and like, praise for JDM. And I'm not ripping on JDM at all, but JDM goes out there and has a 3-round banger, like drag out fight that wasn't looking good at most times against someone on 5 days notice. And I said, now watch him get praised and Bo get shit on for doing the exact same thing, but taking the dude out in 38 seconds. So that illuminates my point. Like, what do you think it is about people that come out here, talk this shit, they get pushed by the UFC, they do the damn thing? What do you, like, what the fuck is that about? And from your perspective, like, do you just go, well, just keep watching? When do you think you win them over? Everybody, I mean.
Right. Yeah, I think that I'll just continue to be myself, be honest, be genuine with my interviews, my conversations that I have with people. And I think that the fans need to get to know me. They need to get a chance and a second and some time to be able to know me, understand where I come from. The UFC obviously does a great job with promoting, pushing fighters, and telling a story. And so I think the more people get to know my story and just who I am, that they will end up liking me and rooting for me. I see it now with college wrestling fans. When I was in college, Ohio State fans and Iowa fans, Oklahoma State fans, they hated my guts. They were like, to fall off a ledge or fall off a cliff or something, and they could care less. And now, after I graduated, or actually, honestly, by the time I was a senior in college, I'd have people come up to me in an Iowa shirt. Man, I hate that you're with Penn State, but I love watching you wrestle. Listen, I love watching you compete. And so I think that, and maybe there's a couple people that are never going to change, but I think that the more people get to know me, they understand my dedication, my discipline, my character, that I don't think that I'll have very many people that want to see me lose. And even now, I feel like 90% of people want to see me win. So, we can boost that up a little bit. We can get to 99%, but that just takes time.
100%.
I know the solution here. All right, here's my advice. And I know you work with Jake Paul and BETR, right? You're a partner there. You're friends with Jake. I'm telling you, you need to get with Jake and just he gives you like a 45-minute crash course and just mad talking shit.
Oh,
and you'll skyrocket up the fucking Twitter rankings and the IG rankings.
And we'll get a giant robotic panda.
Yeah. Like Jake sells a fucking fight, right? Love him, hate him. The guy talks enough shit to sell a fight. It's like, it's the Connor method, right? Like you need to launch it. You need to launch a whiskey brand and just talk crazy shit and then go beat people up.
Can't talk all that shit if you keep losing. You got to keep winning. It doesn't matter if you handpick fights or anything like that or whatever someone's opinion might be about those fights. You got to fucking win. Talking shit, winning. There you go. Or just keeping it real like Bo and saying just no one fucking deserves to be in here with me. That's one thing I find fascinating about Bo. I don't think I've ever heard him talk about, I want that. It's like he's on like an anime. I don't even watch anime, but I feel like there's definitely one out there where the whole point is this dude doesn't care about anything earthly riches. He's just proving to himself that he's the most gangster dude on the planet. I find that fascinating. And that leads me to one quick question. Like, is there anybody, like a scalp out there that you're like, okay, that's one I would push for. I specifically want that.
I've called for KHAMZAT fight. I think that's a big fight, but really at the end of the day, to me, that's that battle. He's just a name, right? Like insert anybody. It could be anybody. Like there has to be the good guy hero. There has to be the bad guy that's doing things his way, and we got to meet up. So to me, he's kind of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want that fight, obviously, but he could be. It doesn't really matter that it's him specifically. Like it's not personal out here. He could be anybody. And to me, I just I see myself in the light of the good guy and the guy that people want to win and who people are going to root for. And I think that obviously there's a lot of people that like him as well, but I think he just is a little more of the bad guy persona. And so, that's a big fight, and that'll be a fun fight. And I think it'll just be overall like a movie, the lead up, the build up, everything that goes into it. But at the end of the day, we got to actually fight. It's not going to be actors. It's not going to be fake. It's not going to be, a movie. It's going to be real life. And I'm prepared and I'm ready to go. And I think that he'll get a big dose of reality in that fight. And, I'll just have to check it a little bit.
Just the thought of that one.
Well, stay ready. Yeah, stay ready because Costa's going to get injured. They're going to need a last-minute fill-in, so you stay ready.
And dude, why did KHAMZAT? What is your opinion, Bo? Why would you think he set out for so long? He goes through that banger with Gilbert. What would be your take on that? Do you think he went, oh shit, like this was supposed to be easy, it was not, so I'm going to take some time? Or what do you think it is, man?
There's probably a lot of things factored into that. I think you fight a fight like that, you need to take a lot of time off. So that's probably smart. I think that I'm sure he's realize a little bit that he's not invincible and that he can get touched up and it doesn't really feel good. I think that he, was trying to contemplate going to 185, going to 170. What's better for him? He's a big weight cutter, so obviously he's not wanting to make 170 4 times a year. That's too much for him. But he still wants to, win the belt at 170. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that go into that, why he's taking so long. I mean, he's probably making way more money than he ever has, and he doesn't need to fight. So, maybe that has something to do with it. He doesn't really need to fight, so he's not going to. But I don't know. I don't really. I think that's kind of been normal for him, aside from the very beginning of his career when he fought whatever 2 or 3 or 4 times in the year, and people are making a big deal of him fighting back-to-back weeks. And but since then, it's been kind of the standard for him. He hasn't really fought a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a little controversial here. So, what was your thoughts on when Dreykus won? Right, beautiful fight, great fucking ending, and then Izzy comes in and throws that spectacle. Sam and I have talked about it on camera before. Very unimpressed with the way he handled himself. So it's really 2 parts. What did you think of like that situation? And then how the fuck are you going to handle that situation when you're there with Sean saying crazy shit and Izzy saying crazy shit, and you're much more of a subdued personality? Like how do you handle that?
Right. That's a great question. I think first off, just my assessment of the situation, it was weird. I don't like when people do things that I feel like are for the show, they're doing things that are
Felt forced.
Yeah, forced. And it's like, dude, this isn't the WWE. There's a real fight. So if you want to do that, all good. Whatever. That's not the route that I'll take. And I don't know, man. I don't really feel like people, if they're gonna come at me, talk crap, this and that. I said it. I just think they don't really know what's gonna happen to them. We got to fight at the end of the day. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna get a hold of you. I'm gonna get you on the ground. I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. Like I haven't had to be emotional, and I'm never going to fight emotionally, but I haven't really wanted to hurt anybody, and I haven't really had anybody that's talk crazy. I just think that the guys that have signed the fights for me so far just have no idea what they're getting into. I think it's going to be the same thing with the guy at the top. Maybe they try to build it up a little more. Maybe they'll try to talk some crap, get into my head. Listen, man, I've been competing, talking crap, dealing with adversity, dealing with people in your face since I was a little kid. And you really have to go to a youth wrestling tournament and see how these parents act and how the kids act to understand it's not really that much different from the way these fighters are, what they're going through. And so, if somebody wants to act crazy, to me, it's like, all right, I'm not going to really match that energy. I'm just going to let you know, we're going to fight and you have no idea what I'm going to do to you. So, yeah.
I want to say, I want to say cap, absolute cap. I don't want to hurt people, he says. I believe you, but dude, the fuck was that follow-up punch, dog? That was Hendo-esque. I'm just saying, you might not be trying to do something, but you're trying to end something.
No, dude, it's a sport. So at the end of the day, the object of my sport is to win the fight. So,
yeah, But you could swing a baseball bat and hit a homer, or you could try to kill that fucking ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
swinging for homers. That's all I'm saying. I know you're a great guy, but good lord,
to me,
hard for you to say.
Yeah, to me, the biggest thing is it's not emotional. It's not it's not like somebody on the playground just flicked you on the forehead and then you're like, I want to get you. It's I'm doing this as a profession. I'm a professional, and so to me, really, I just see your head. It's not like you're a person. I just see that, and I'm just gonna knock it off this planet. So that's kind of the idea, right? But it doesn't really matter who you are. It's just that it's just your body. It's just whatever I decide to do to you. It doesn't really. It's not personal.
No, I know, man. It's just funny because it is violent as shit when you get going. And so it's just funny to hear you say that. I ain't trying to hurt anybody. I wasn't trying to hit a home run. Christ. Right? You get me.
It's not the objective. It's just the byproduct.
That's terrifying.
It just happened to go 430 center field.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to hit 470
Right.
dead center. My bad, guys. I was going for a triple. No, it's just funny, man.
All right, let's do this. Let's break down the 292
Yeah.
card, and then Bo, you can stick around as long as you want to. We just sit here and bullshit, but let's break down the card. You can hang around. If you need to bounce, you can bounce.
All right, prelude the card while I just grab beer. I'll be back 2 seconds.
Yeah. Take your time, Mac. No big deal, buddy. Go get your beer. All right, hey Bo, how fun was golfing with Trump though?
Dude, it was insane. So
I texted you and I was like, holy shit.
right after my fight a couple weeks ago, and then from there, we just kind of became like bros. We were just broing out, talking the whole time, talking about golf, talking about fighting, talking about sports. We didn't even really talk about politics. We were just talking about other stuff. And for whatever reason, he liked me. He was like, just thought I was cool dude, and invited me back to his course for the Live Tour. So the last 3 days for Live Tour, we hung out pretty much every day, and he had to go to Iowa on Saturday to the state fair and speak. But yesterday yesterday I hung out with him for 5 hours in his suite, and we just talked and chilled and broed out. So he's the man. He's super positive.
I fucking love this.
Yeah.
I love this. He's like a legitimate fight fan though,
Oh,
right?
he loves it. Yeah, he was at my fight.
Yeah.
290. He was at UFC Miami. Yeah, he loves fighting.
Yeah, I love that. Bo's gonna end up on fucking campaign tour with Donald.
Yeah, security. Just working security.
I'm calling it now. Yeah, he's security.
Well, it was funny because we were walking around the golf course, and we're walking on basically the fairway, and there's string kind of lining the course where the fans are outside of it, but it's like a string. It's a string in post, so anybody could just move it out of the way and run up. And obviously he's got like 30 Secret Service around him, and they're all pushing people back and stuff. And
he said, "You can take the day off. I got this motherfucker today."
Yeah. So he asked, "Hey, come up here, walk with me." So I'm walking with him and stuff, and we're talking, and the whole time I'm just thinking, yo. One, I don't want to get in the way of the Secret Service because, I get it, I'm a pro fighter, but like these dudes are different, right? Like they're doing a whole different thing. And so, but two, I'm thinking if somebody rolls up like with bad intentions, I'm gonna knock them out cold. Like I'm going to do it, like no doubt. So I was kind of just like a little on edge, but also not wanting to get in the Secret Service way, but then being like, if it pops off, like I'm throwing a freaking elbow in his face, like no doubt. But it was awesome. It was super fun.
You're not doing good on your argument that you
Bo
don't want to hurt
some
people.
Kid trying to get a fucking autograph.
He's like, someone runs up here talking shit, they're gonna knock the fuck out. I don't want to hurt anybody though. So.
All right, so let's break down this 292.
Wait, you got to answer them. But did you beat him? Did you guys play each other? Did you win?
No, dude, I suck. He's like really good. So I just.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's a good.
All right, we found the one thing Bo can't win in.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I'm working on it.
That's the one. Look, I'm telling you, here's the problem, though. Golf is the greatest game on earth, right? Because you can play it until you die. Until you stop walking, you can play the game.
No.
But don't ever get caught in a Nassau bet with a bunch of 70-year-old men because you're fucked. They hit it 150 down the middle. They hit it 120 to the green. They chip and they putt, and it's done. They move on to the next hole.
Yeah, that's
from experience.
That's gonna be me when I'm 70.
I can't.
Right. I hope it's me when I'm 72.
Golfing boring.
All right, let's break this thing down, boy. Starter fight is Chito Vera minus 184 against Pedro Munoz. Bo, you kick it off first. Give us quick analysis and your pick.
Great fight. I think that obviously both guys have great low kicks, good base. Chito, I think, lost to Sandhagen in his last fight. I believe Pedro got the eye poke with O'Malley. Has Pedro fought since then?
I believe Pedro's fought. Let me double check.
But that's going to be a good fight. I think that 3 rounds, it's going to go to a decision. Both guys got good chin.
Pedro decisioned Chris Gutierrez. That's right.
Yeah, Pedro looked great against Gutierrez. That was a great fight for him. I think whoever wins is going to be the guy that is able to check the kicks the best. So I'm boys with Chito, and Pedro's a teammate. So I can't pick somebody. But tell me what y'all think.
Mac.
I feel like this is one of those trajectory fights. Like, I mean, I'll never be able to. I will not sit here and pretend to like technically break down stuff in front of Bo Nickel. I just will not make a fool out of myself.
I want to hear what you think. You might be right.
Well, yeah. Well, I just feel like
You did against Mighty Mouse. Come on.
I was probably a couple more beers deep by then, man. I was feeling brave. All right, peep this.
Well,
I just feel like this is like bro science, man. I'm gonna do the bro science part. You and Sam can do the super technical shit. I just feel like this is one of those trajectory fights where Pedro's been struggling. He's been struggling. He always puts on bangers. Love the dude. I mean, he's had tough fights. He's one of those classic Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz, Sean O'Malley, Chris Gutierrez. Like, that's a pretty wicked lineup. Before that, it was Jimmy Rivera, Frankie Edgar, and Aljamain. Like, he's had a rough go just because, you know, that's the elites. But with Vera, he's been damn, now I kind of talked myself into the opposite. I don't know. I kind of think Pedro might be able to pull this one off. Bro science, dude.
You're just guessing, dude. You have no idea.
That's my point. What did I just say, man? I'm not trying to be a fool around.
Hey, Max says, I'm just guessing here. And then he names off the last 9 fights the guy fucking has, right? Like, come on.
Well,
all right, Sam, what you got, brother?
I'm taking Pedro in this. Cheeto's amazing. He's very talented, but I don't think he's supposed to win. And there's something to that. A lot of times the guy who is supposed to win finds a way to win. I think Pedro's on the way up. Coming off O'Malley and then Gutierrez. And Cheeto, he's coming off a, what was that, title eliminator?
He's only lost to Corey Sandhagen. He beat Cruz, fought Frankie, Davey Grant, lost to Jose Aldo. Trajectory fight.
Yeah. It is. I'm taking Pedro in this one.
All right. I'm going Cheeto. Make it simple. All right, next one. Fucking the up-and-coming potential superstar, Ian Gary.
Oh, that's my
minus
point.
420 with the fill-in Neil Magny. The old fill-in Neil Magny. That's a hell of a fill-in. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah, this fight to me seems pretty obvious. I think that Ian Gary's going to beat him up. You know, Magny's tough, man. He's been there forever. Very good fighter, very well-rounded. But, you know, this is a great fight for Ian Gary, and it's a fight he should win. So, to me, it's more interesting to be – it's going to be more interesting about how he performs. Does he try to get a knockout? Does he get a knockout? Does he go for the knockout, go for a finish, and get tired and end up winning a decision or not looking great? Like, how is he going to handle this kind of situation? A guy with a lot of experience. So that's really what I'm interested in, is to see how he handles the fight. And he's doing really well. So, you know, he might be very confident, and maybe he goes and puts him out there. Or maybe, you know, I think it's a big opportunity to learn.
My thing, it's actually funny he comes up because I'm cool with Ian. His wife works for Karate Combat, so like we've hung out quite a few times. He's the same as you, man. He's like beyond just fight. Like he's embedded in it, man. Mentally, he loves this shit. Like it's constantly like, check out these new combos I've been working out, bro. Like I was looking at that last. He's just cerebral as hell. He just has a little bit more loud of a mouth than you. I'm with you there. I think this is one of those fights. It's like you look dope, bro. You know, you showed it against D-Rod. D-Rod has Neil has been around forever, and if you can beat him, we all know you're legit. I take Ian the same way Bo did.
Just riding on Bo's kid.
Yeah, hell yeah, he'll protect me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Neil Magny, he is the last remaining fighter from my season of The Ultimate Fighter that's left in the UFC. So I will always root for him. He's a good friend. Every time he fights, every time he wins, I text him, say congratulations. But I think he's going to get knocked out this time. I think his biggest attribute is his pace and his endurance. He could just go forever. And he's an incredibly fast fighter. But taking a short notice fight against an up-and-comer, man, he's already up. He's just coming. Or maybe
Pause.
A second now. He's supposed to win. I think he's been pretty dominant.
He says what? He was already up, and now he's coming. Was that what he said?
Dude, verbatim. And this would be on an Aljamain Sterling card. You guys remember that meme? I'm coming on that.
Yeah, clip that part. Clip that part, boys.
You guys were
I'm
complaining
going
about my
Ian
last
Gary.
breakdown. How dare you?
I'm going Ian Gary. I'm actually going early knockout. I love Magny. I think he's a G, but I think Ian Gary's got him here. All right, I'm gonna fuck this one up really bad.
Let me say it.
Amanda Lemos.
Yeah, actually, you're pretty close. Amanda Lemos.
All right, go ahead.
Lemos versus. Do you think it's Zhang Weili or Weili Zhang?
I think it's Weili Zhang.
We'll allow it. Okay, who do we got? Bo.
Dang.
Hey, Zhang's minus 300, by the way, which is a lot. That's a big favorite. Bo.
I'll take Willie.
Big favorite.
I love it. What do you think, Matt?
I think you guys are bullshit for giving me shit about my first take. You both have had just like 2 worders since then. Okay.
Come on,
he said. Lemos hits like a truck. No, it's Zhang. It's Zhang Weili all day.
Sam's like, I don't know who the hell either one of these people are, but go ahead.
I was gonna say Wiley's gonna win. I don't know who.
If you saw, you'd probably see her.
Fought.
You'd know who it is.
Didn't.
She's fucking pretty good.
I was looking at her beforehand. I have such a hard time with the women's division. I lose track of everyone but the champion for the most part. It's like the champion and Rose.
Those are my
I know
favorite
those
divisions.
Wiley's gonna win, and I couldn't give you the exact how or when. There you're back today. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them. They're great divisions. They're fantastic. They're the greatest division.
And look, as a father of 2 daughters, I think women can do anything they set their minds to. And if you guys want to fight. I'm going Zhang. I'm going Weili Zhang.
As I'm
Huge favorite
flashing
of
the
her.
Joanna signed card. I need the Bo signed card.
Oh, look
Favorite
at
fighter
him.
of all time, Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
dead
All
ass.
right. Now we're on to the big one because Garbrandt is out. So I don't think they found an opponent for that fight. So have they officially moved up Weidman or no?
No, they won't do that until they
have.
pretty much conclude they won't find
right.
something.
Well, you know what? Let's back up the truck just a hair.
Chris Brad Tavares.
Yeah. Let's go Brad Tavares minus 265 against Weidman at plus 225 because that's probably going to end up
That's
being the
kind of a wild line. I mean, I get it, but that's kind of a wild line.
It's a big difference.
Yeah.
I like Weidman at plus 225, honestly.
Yeah. Same.
Good odds.
He's coming back from a freaking ridiculous injury, but I think he can win the fight. I just think he can win. I think he can take him down. I think he can beat him up. I think he can win the fight.
I mean, yeah, no knock on Brad Tavares, but like, what's he really known for? Like walk-off, one-shot power, like dragging people down. No, I mean, he's been a banger. He's been here forever. I like Brad. He's solid. But like, yeah, I feel like Weidman has a couple attributes. Could get him in trouble, but also win him that fight. I think he can come back and probably drag out a decision or something. But the first time either of them throw a fucking leg kick, I'm going to be squealing.
Over-under on leg kicks thrown that fight.
Ooh, dude, fucking 10. There's like 10, and they're like the first 8 are like, "Are we good, bro? Are we good? Can we throw?"
They're like little taps. They're a little like,
yeah. Can we be chill about this, bro?
yeah.
Holy shit! It's crazy that it only happened 4 times in UFC. He's involved in 2 of them.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Hopefully it's
Let's keep it at
two,
that.
just 2 of them.
Please.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam.
Sam, who you got?
I am taking Weidman just because in my heart I can't predict him losing. God, I love Weidman. He's one of the greats. He beat my hero, Anderson Silva, and I couldn't imagine. He's had a terrible skid. He's been in the pits for a minute, and I refuse to say out loud I think he's going to lose. So Weidman's going to win this one.
All right, I'm gonna go Brad. All right, let's get on to the main event. I'm going Brad.
You're just a contrarian, dude. I'm convinced.
Yeah, that's the way. Hey, I've been around betting long enough to know that if everybody likes one guy, the other guy's gonna fucking win.
Oh, is that how it works?
I'm
Is that
Vegas.
how it works?
I'm Vegas.
Two,
You guys are the public.
we're
I'm
betting
Vegas.
with our hearts too. Like we want.
That's right.
That's what
right.
I'm an expert at.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I watched. Fuck, this has got to be. I mean, how old is Weidman's got to be my age.
He's like 39.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I watched him
What are you,
live.
50? Don't just walk by that. How old are you?
Don't you stop. Nah, I'm 41, motherfucker. I'm 41. And I watched Weidman lose his first fight to Rockhold. I've told you guys this story where Rockhold stole my buddy's girls. That was against Weidman on the same card that Connor knocked out all
that one. Yeah. The spinning back, the worst. I mean, he's clowned on himself. That was the worst spinning back kick ever. Rockhold grabbed his back, and that's where it all went bad. He literally had that fight in the bag. But yeah.
All right. Here's the one, boys. What an interesting one, too. All right. O'Malley against Sterling. And these guys have been chirping back and forth quite a bit. It's been an interesting lead up to the fight for me watching these guys, because I can't tell how serious either one is, to be honest. And when we were talking about how we thought the IZZY thing was just over the top and fake, I honestly question how much of this is actually real between Sean and Aljamain.
It's pretty real.
Sean's a showman. Sean puts on Sean knows what.
And I think Aljamain does not like that. I think Aljamain's I think they actually don't like each other. I think that because I think people know O'Malley's a showman. They know he's very, cocky. He's talking all the time. He's crazy. He's smoking weed and hitting the bag and doing all the funny stuff. And I think guys are they do not like that. I think Aljamain wants to kill him. So I'm excited to see the build up this week.
Who's gonna win it?
Aljamain's so freaking good, man. He's probably the most underrated fighter in the UFC right now.
I picked him against Piotr in the second fight.
I agree.
I did too. I think that he's the most underrated fighter in the UFC aside from me, and I think that he's gonna win.
All right, Mac.
Who's underrating you?
Everybody, man.
Dude, people
show me the guy that's
bullshit.
underrating.
When I said that whole thing about dude, Bo makes it too easy, and I think when he makes it look too easy, and then when you have someone like JDM go out through that drag out fight, like that thing I brought up earlier, and then he gets praised, oh my god, look at what he did on 5 days' notice. Look what Bo did in the same 38 seconds, smoked a guy. Well, that doesn't count though, because why? Because you expect so much out of Bo. What's better than 38 seconds? 37? 36 seconds? What do you need, bitch? It doesn't make any sense to me.
But that's what it is.
It is.
Honestly. It's people expect a guy that just won fifth fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
People expect everything out of this guy that had 4 fights coming in, right? Which is insane to me. Which is fucking insane to me. And then it's oh, well, maybe he didn't know enough. Motherfucker, he was bouncing in and out like fucking Roy Jones and hitting like Mike Tyson against a fucking puncher. What else can we expect at this point? He's going to have to do a fucking cartwheel kick to finish somebody.
That's a good idea.
I love Aljo. I love people proving people wrong. I feel like he got so much shit for, beg pardon, he ate a fucking filthy knee in a fight he was clearly losing. I don't think he acted. I mean, could he have kept going? Yeah, but then people call Anthony Smith stupid for not taking the title from Jones in the same situation. There's no consistency when it comes to this shit. There's just none. It doesn't matter. It's people either don't like you and what you're gonna do, or they do. And dude got kneed pretty fucking bad. I'm cool with the way that went, but what I think is dope is they talk so much shit, threw him under the bus for years just for him to come back and beat Piotr Jan. I would like to see that story continue on, because I feel like fans are finally coming around on Aljamain Sterling. I think, like Bo said, I think they both take this shit serious. I think people look at Sean O'Malley and say, how do you play Call of Duty and smoke weed all day? Fuck that. We're here to train. Who knows, man? I think O'Malley would have to pull something out of his ass to catch him with something on this one, because at least, tell me if I'm wrong here, Bo or Sam, but Aljamain, he gets him on the ground, it's going to be trouble. Sean's sneaky on the ground, but not like Aljo. But one benefit would be Sean strikes from range, and that's also where Aljo strikes from. If Aljo was someone who crashed forward, just landed clean ass, clinching up and landed short shots, staying inside, that might be where we saw more problems on the feet. But I feel like that would be Sean's one real advantage in this, that they like to strike from the same range, but Aljo can also shoot from that range as well.
Aljo is going to smoke him. Now, I'm also O'Malley did not beat Petr Yan. The judges again stepped up and I was pissed off. That might have been the biggest rivalry in UFC history right there. I hated that fight, or hated that decision. Anyways, the fight was a good fight. I think Aljo is going to get in there, take him down, have his way with him, send him back into the top, number 2 spot or 3 spot or something. And I think he's going to really get exposed. And I like O'Malley. He's an entertaining fighter. I think he's the most overhyped fighter in the UFC right now. And he could prove me wrong. So Ice Bags, this is your chance to pick, the opposite of everyone, and maybe you're right. But I think Aljo is going to take him down and just show him what a world-class wrestler can do.
Yeah. So, here's my opinion as somebody that would get beat up by everybody that we just rattled off at every weight class. But I'm going with Aljo. I'm just going to say this. I don't like fake people, and I feel like.
What do you think is fake about Sean? He literally just likes smoking weed and playing video games. That's what those people look like.
No, but it's too much. It's like that guy that wants to smoke, all day long. Dude, I watched a fucking video of him today. While it was quite fucking hilarious, he smoked a bong, dropped it, and then he started. All right, it was fucking funny, but it's too much. I think the whole thing is too much. I think Aljo, if you look at Aljo for this fight, bro, the guy looks like an absolute monster. Like, he is in shape. He's ready. I actually think he finishes it early. I feel like O'Malley is one of those guys that's a little bit too much hyped up by the UFC, a little too early, but that's just my opinion. And I hope when we have Sean on here one day, they don't play this back and then he fucking fades me for, doing that.
No, peep this. It reminds me exactly of Bo. Help me out here. Tell me I'm wrong. This is just like, I'd say Corey's a better fighter than Sean overall. Look what Aljo did to Corey. And that MMA math, I'm not saying that's, but bro, Corey would be like the most applicable comparison, right, to Sean? Probably. And look what he did. He backpacked him in like 45 seconds, left him cold. MMA math, just saying.
There's something to MMA math.
There is, I think that when you look at a guy who's a legitimate world-class grappler, if you match Aljamain up with ADCC, I don't even know if they have a 135 weight or 145 weight. If you put him in there, he's going to be very competitive, I think, in my opinion. And, people underestimate how important being literally world-class in one discipline is, So, when I look at guys like that are world-class in one discipline and who have rounded out their skills, and against the guy who really doesn't match up that great, I think there's really only a couple ways the fight can go, and I don't see it going well for O'Malley, just given the matchup. And I think that it's early for him. He's still young. I don't know that he could get there ever, but against a world-class grappler, it's just tough to fight guys like that.
Are we all four on Aljo at this point? So you guys realize that Sean probably knocks him out.
Let me change. I'm switching.
At this point,
I'm going to be contrary on this because, dude, I have gotten so – I need to just pick the opposite of what I want to pick.
We joke around about this all the time. Like, that's the beautiful thing about one-on-one combat sports, right? And who was it that I sent it to you? I sent you the text the other day, Mac. Because Mac's like, man, I swear I never pick a fucking final fight right. And it was somebody like, who was it? Was it Merab?
All of them, literally all of them.
No, I sent you a text, and it was like Merab showed his card for UFC 291, and he picked every single fight.
That's me, baby. I think he sent me a screenshot of me.
Right? It was every single one. And we were cracking up, but it's like that's combat sports, bro. Hey, Bo, I don't want to keep you on here too long. I know you've been on here for an hour at this point. Anything else you want to talk about or plug or whatever? You got a sports drink? You got a fucking, I don't know, something?
No plugs. Just catch me on social media. Excited to be part of the Panda fam. So I appreciate y'all.
man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me on. This was fun. Fun to chat with you guys.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Bo, could I bug you for
Absolutely.
one more thing, please? I wanted to ask you who are the best 5 wrestlers in the UFC now
I
or
like
ever?
I like that.
Who would your list be? Yourself.
Are you talking like in wrestling or in wrestling, MMA wrestling?
Like who
in
adapted
the
to
UFC?
Do you mean are they
In the
the
UFC.
best wrestler? As in, how good were they at like collegiate wrestling, like sport wrestling, or how good were they at wrestling in the cage? You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Let's say wrestling in the
Wrestling in the
cage.
cage. So I look at guys who utilize wrestling the best for MMA, and I definitely look at Khabib. I think that, it's without a doubt that he was the most wrestling-centric kind of fighter who had the most success. I look at I'll go with Khabib. I'll go with George St. Pierre. I'll start off with 2 guys that are not actual sport wrestlers. GSP utilized his wrestling really, really well. Was able to take down a lot of really high-level guys. I think John Jones is up there. Of course, a lot of people know him lately as a striker, but especially, you saw the wrestling come out in that Cyril fight. I think he could have done that to any of those guys that he had competitive fights with at 205. I think he was just literally bored, and so he just kickboxed them. But I think at any point he could have taken those guys down and finished them. I look at even a guy like Chael Sonnen, very effective wrestling, very, beat the crap out of Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds, right? A guy that, was able to have a lot of good wins, perform at a high level. Randy Couture had great wrestling at 205 and heavyweight, took a lot of guys down. I'm sure there are people that are escaping me. Daniel Cormier, Henry Cejudo, both guys with great wrestling that, were able to really. But I think what's common with a lot of these guys, maybe aside from Khabib, is they had great wrestling, and then their other skills kind of also were rising as they got better.
They started relying on those hands, shooting on those takedowns and coming over the top.
I think more so than relying, they mixed them in. They mixed it up well, right? Like that's what you have to do as a fighter, right? Like for me, I'm working on mixing it up, working on dressing everything up, setting everything up, while utilizing like the ultimate weapon, always having that. So, those guys are all guys that I watch a lot of film on, that I study, that I think competed at a high level. I'm sure I'm missing other guys, but guys that I kind of, try to study.
Okay, I will cut I got a quick one. You could just say yes or no. And if you say don't post this, we won't. The infamous grappling match with John Jones.
Oh my gosh.
Do you beat Jones or no? Well, I know, but
so
that went headlines.
And John was just grappling with Gordon last week.
Saw that,
right?
yeah. I'll just what happened. So I roll up to the PI. I see John in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, say what's up. It's Monday, like a week before the fight. I've never met him. So I go and I'm like, I think. Oh no. So we were working with the same manager at the time, and our manager was like basically like, oh, introduce you guys, and we go to introduce him, and I'm thinking like, oh, we're just gonna like dap up or whatever. And so I go to dap up, and he's like, fake shot, and I'm like, all right, bro. Like I didn't really react because I'm like, you can grab my leg, it's all good. But then he's like, I got you. I'm like, you didn't get me, dude. Like you faked the shot, and but it was kind of funny. And then so then I saw him the next day at media day, and we started grappling around, moving around, and he's freaking huge. He's 260 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like joking, like all right, we're gonna pummel a little bit, and he goes full 100%, tries to foot sweep me, and I'm like, what's going on? And I don't fall, but then I'm like, all right, dude, like I'm not gonna take you down in front of 50 people, like in the middle of the makeup room. But so I just kind of started moving a little bit. I was just like fake, and I was like, you're done. I got you. You're too slow. So in my mind, like that it was just funny though, because he's a competitor on all levels at all times, and yeah, he caught me off guard at first. The next time I'm thinking, oh, this is very casual, full 260-pound foot sweep trying to take me down. I'm like, okay. So now I'm like, I gotta like kind of let you know that you're not gonna really like do anything to me in wrestling. So then boom, boom, boom. And he was like, oh, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, all right, it's over. Like I would have blown you.
He had a lot of excuses after that one too.
Let me replay this for a second. John is like 5 days out from 3 years off and fighting for the heavyweight title, and he's trying to fucking go full speed, right? And then Bo says, "Don't worry, I'm going to take it easy on it."
Yeah,
I love this.
That's what it was in my mind, and I don't know the guy, so I'm unsure how he rolled. I love watching him as a competitor and stuff, and yeah, I'm like, dude, you're gonna we're in pants and freaking lifestyle, like
Yeah.
you're gonna go foot sweep, like we got what's going on? So I'm just like, all right, bro, like never again. I'll be ready every.
I got a theory about Jones, and I'll let you go with this. I just had to bring that one up because that was fucking funny. But he only seems to do that to people he really goes, all right, this motherfucker's for real, huh? He does it. Yeah. You look at Izzy. He met Izzy that one time face to face. What did he do? They start grappling. He's done it to them all. I had like 3 names in my head, but you told me the story, and now I'm like,
well, it was Izzy, it was Bo, and it was me.
Well, but you got. I would love to see footage of that.
He's definitely like trying to be alpha, like trying to alpha you.
And he won't pick on people that he doesn't think's a fucking threat. That's why he's like, this kid's good or what?
We're not about to go like a full wrestling match right here in the middle of the makeup room again, but I'm not gonna let you just like freaking. I gotta let you know I got you.
That's hilarious.
Right. Bo, when are you fighting again?
We'll see. Probably March, April. Right now, focused on my wife and making sure she's all good with the pregnancy, and then get a quick little training camp after that, and knock some dude out again. So that's the plan.
Love it.
Yeah.
Bo, much love.
Hey, I got one more
You're
question
good,
for you. I'm sorry. Colby Covington versus Usman. Would you say Colby took him down or no?
Yeah, I thought so.
All right. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear it from you.
100%.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys. This was fun.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
Brother. Appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right, sounds good.
Is he not the best?
He's
Dude.
wonderful.
He's just a savage, man. Like in a different way. Like he thinks it's funny as fuck. I don't want to hurt nobody. Like I know he doesn't, but good Lord, bro. Like the next story he says, like, dude, someone walks up talking shit, they're gonna get clapped. Like, oh Christ.
The guy's been a killer since like he was like 6 years old, right? Like,
oh yeah.
that
Yeah,
doesn't go
his
away.
6-year-old Bo can take you down probably.
We got to set up a John Jones Bo charity match.
I mean, you remember the very first time we had him on for 15 minutes, and he was like, "Yeah, I trained a week to grapple with Gordon." He was like, and I went 9 rounds with him. He's like, if I went with him now,
4 grappling classes is what he said.
yeah. And he said, if we went now, I'd get him.
It's hard to like ever count that dude. Yeah.
Right? Like that level of confidence is like, and it's legit. It's not the bullshit. Like Sam, you and I have talked about this, like the Izzy overconfidence, overcompensating type of thing is one thing that it's kind of easy for us to see through. But his is 100% fucking legit. Like he thinks he can beat anybody.
Yeah, Izzy has 30 kickboxing fights and now 30 MMA fights, something like that. Bo has 10,000 wrestling matches and he won almost all of them. It leads to a different breed, a different blood in your system. It's like, yeah, it's just, I don't need to tell you how good I am. I'm that good and you'll find out real soon.
In fairness, I think Izzy had like 75 kickboxing fights and lost like 2. Let me look. Dude, yeah, he had 80 fucking kickboxing fights, 75 wins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
There's few people out there that have more fights than me, and he's got more fights than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not shitting on Izzy in any way. I mean, Izzy's the fucking GOAT. He's a champ right now. Like, but Bo is just one of those guys that he's humble. He knows what he has, and I think he fucking delivers. I mean, he's delivered every single time so far. and he's not in a rush, which is different to me, right? Like all these guys want to go, but
Yeah.
he's like, no, I'll just, I'll take the next fight one at a time. And I liked hearing him say he was very calculated in taking that Woodburn fight, right? Because like Wonder Boy didn't take the fight, and you can't blame him when he was like, all right, we have a problem here. The guy's overweight. This has happened before. Or to guys that somebody falls out and then they get replaced with somebody, and it's somebody that they don't know anything about. You can't say like, oh, well, you shouldn't, you should take that fight immediately, because you shouldn't.
Yeah. That's a mistake I made a lot in my career. Is I always took it. My last 8 fights, I think between the total of them, I had like 3 weeks notice. And it's always been who I am. And I don't regret it, but I understand what maybe I could have done had I not done it that way.
Yeah. There's just something about being calculated especially at a young age with so few fights, right? To be calculated and be like, I went to my team, I talked to them, like half the team split on whether I should, whether I shouldn't, and I made the decision that I should. And then obviously we saw what came out of that. Probably, I mean, to me, by far his most spectacular highlight of his UFC career, even though he tapped, the fucking John card, he tapped the guy out in like 45 seconds. But that right there was like a defining moment of, holy shit, this guy is lightning fast. He's got hands. He's got wrestling. So it was the right decision in that case.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's quick. Like his brain works quick. The way he was describing, I read this, and so I changed that and I did that. It's incredible. And then after that first submission fight, there was a low blow involved. And he had the presence of mind of never admitting it. He didn't bring it up. He said, no, it didn't happen.
Oh, it's
something that, and most people would kind of start apologizing already. He was fast enough, mentally to realize, no, I just ignore it, blow through it. I'm not letting anyone take this away from me. And that's hard to find.
Like you and me talked about Ed Herman and Robertson earlier. It's like just like that. They ain't gonna call it. Keep moving, baby.
Yeah. That fight, Ed's my hero because of that. That was incredible, the way he was able to play it off like he did.
I love how people get upset about that. Like, dude, it's a smart play. You make those types of plays, it's a trick play almost. It's like, didn't get called. I ran with it. What are you gonna do about it? That's the sport. That's funny. I do want to let me defend Izzy for a second, because I've been like kind of thinking about this for a second. I feel like Izzy gets a bad rap. I really do. I think he gets a bad rap, and I think he, like the outburst against Duplessis in the cage.
Too much.
It's like whatever. It's a little bit too much, but it's whatever. I mean, who knows how much he'd been drinking the whole time there, and we can all understand how that goes. But I think that type of energy can be explained over his past, and then also like his UFC career. He's been overlooked a lot despite being one of the most dominant. He's one of the most active champs. Then he got shit on for so long because this guy comes and chases him down. The UFC fast tracks him up to a title fight against him where he put in work to get there. Look at the work Izzy put in a very short amount of time too, to get up to the title shot, get to that level. And then Pereira comes over, and because for whatever reason, a lot of fans don't like him or whatever, everyone was, here comes the boogeyman to take you out again, and you're, the new sport you conquered. And then, he lost that fight, gets just memed to hell. Like comes back, wins that shit. He took a chance against Jan, lost that. I feel like there's a lot of reasons why he'd be a little bit outburstish and like protective about himself, and honestly kind of just pissed off at some point. Again, I already said a little much on the Duplessis thing, but I think Izzy is a very real guy. I've been to one of his after parties before with Booger Beard. He literally, not like at the party, like, oh yeah, they get to hang out in that room, but we're over here. No, we got taken into the area with like Francis Ngannou, Leon Edwards, and that's when he fought Nate Diaz. And Izzy had just beaten Marvin. And Izzy's one of the most down-to-earth people I have ever met, and I do feel like I just need to stand up for him. Not that he needs that.
That's what he needs, Mac. He needs you standing up for him.
I know, dude. Like, I'll be his Secret Service. I don't give a fuck. But no, dude, Izzy's a great fucking guy, and I think when you look into it, there's a lot of reasons he's a little bit outburstish sometimes. And I think
So
it's valid.
I'm not saying he's not, right? And
Yeah.
and here's my thing is like, believe me, I'm the last one to be able to judge anybody.
Yeah, I'm just saying this for the YouTube, like for the people that comment shit, and they're like, no one defended it. Like, no, I see it both ways, man. I see it both ways.
The Dreykus deal was so over the top. It was fucking obnoxious. It was annoying. It was like, to me, it was fake. And it was just, it was not like what I expected out of Izzy as a champ, right? But you know, look, I've run into Izzy, you know, previously prior to that. In the nightclub and things like that. He's always seemed like a nice guy, but like, I'm the last one to judge on this kind of shit. But at the same time, when you're kind of in that spotlight, you have a certain expectation to live up to. Right. And it's like, do you want your persona to be this, or do you want your persona to be that? And you kind of have to choose. Yo, I saw this video the other day and it was absolutely hilarious. Right. And it was like, guy shows up to the boxing gym and wants to fight, just wants to spar with the head instructor. Okay. So the camera's in there. This fucking white dude jumps in. He's got like a Boston accent.
Are you sure it's not Charlie Zelenoff? He's literally the most important. He made a name off doing that.
Oh, I don't know.
Charlie Zelenoff, white kid.
Okay. So I doubt it, because this was like a 55, 60-year-old guy that comes in.
Oh,
he's got to be 55, right?
No.
Comes in and he's like, you know, I want to fight. I just want to spar. And the instructor's pretty good sized black dude, right? And he's like, are you sure you want to? And he's like, yeah. So the guy's talking shit. And he's like, you know, putting his glove, don't even know how to put his gloves on. They're helping him put his gloves on. And the instructor's like, you know, you just don't come in here and spar people. And the guy says, oh, you don't know who I am? Like he's from around the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And they put the fucking gloves on, dude. And I'm telling you, he just backs up a bit and counter punches him and knocks him on his fucking head. And the guy's like, you can tell as soon as he gets up, right? He's like, the birds are chirping. He's like spinning in circles. He's not looking good. And the guy's like, hey man, the instructor's like, yo, you just don't come into a boxing gym and do this kind of stuff. And the guy's like, no, let's just keep going. And it's literally like one miss and fucking counter punch again. And the guy just fucking hits the canvas again. And it takes like 3 of these before the guy's, he don't even know where he's at this point. And he's like, you don't walk into a fucking boxing gym and challenge people to spar for no fucking reason. He's like, you came in angry. He's like, this is the kind of shit that'll humble you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really seem to really humble people. Most of them, at least.
Hey, you know something else that's happened since we've spoken last? Nate Diaz fought the Paul brother, Jake. I predicted it wrong. I picked Diaz to win, so I was wrong about that one. I don't understand boxing, but I had Diaz win, and I thought he was gonna win, and then he didn't.
Nah.
Funny enough, dude, I get all my MMA picks wrong. They're only my official picks though on here, man. I need to start taking it more serious because I'm better than that. I'm like legit better than that. I pick with my heart,
Right.
but
Nate,
boxing, I pick right. Like, dude,
yeah.
Nate is not a fucking boxer, bro. And I'm not talking about Jake Paul fights. I'm talking about like Jake's better than people give him credit for how long he's been doing it. And Nate Diaz is not the good boxer out of the two brothers. Did
you guys watch it?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did. What the fuck?
Yeah, I found
It
a free
looked
stream on
it looked like Nate had marshmallows attached to his fucking.
You could have
wrist.
told you that. I could have told you that ahead of time.
It was the softest punches I've ever seen in my life for the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Dude, he does not start swinging hard and hitting hard until you're gassed. That's when he starts doing that.
He did. Like round 8 or something, he kind of turned it on, which I was shocked. But I think Jake was a little tired. And that, you know, Nate does punches and bunches, right? So it was interesting to see. But like I thought Jake was going to take him out in the first round. It legitimately looked like he was going to take him out in the first round. It looked like Nate gassed 3 or 4 times, but didn't, and then came back strong in the later rounds. But yeah, Nate's not a boxer. Jake's a decent boxer. I'm not gonna say he's not.
Well, he's the only boxer he's even fought. He lost to. So it doesn't. My only problem with Jake Paul, my only problem, is not even him, because I get what he's doing. Of course, I get what he's doing. I cannot stand the fans that don't see that.
Yeah.
So like, if this is gonna be MMA versus boxing, that's fine. but then we need to be genuine about who he's bringing over to box him. Woodley is his best win by far. By far. Even over Anderson Silva. Anderson didn't look like himself, and that wasn't even like there was no memorable shit from that fight at all. He keeps picking people that are either so far over the hill, and I mean that with the most respect, but over the hill in a sport they don't really compete in. It's just a facet of their game, or people that were never good strikers and beat Conor McGregor. So it gives you Askren, bro. You boxed Askren. Like you boxed, Nate Diaz
the worst
after
striker in UFC history.
Literally, he was proud of like never training strike. He's like, I didn't need it. So it's wild. It's wild. I just need people to understand Jake Paul, who he picks, which is smart. It's fine. But do not sit there and act like, oh, your boy lost again. We know, but we also know who the fuck you picked. That's all I'm saying. You want to win over the MMA fans? We'll shut up if you pick someone good.
So I did want to go into this with Bo and just didn't want to like drag on the interview. But I did want to ask him because he's in with Jake Paul's crew with BETR. They're a sponsor of Bo. They're like, you know, a Stake or a DraftKings or whatever, and they're doing their platform, right? And they're sponsoring a lot of fighters. They're putting on fights. Like I like what they're doing, and obviously there's a demand for it, right? Like we may not like it, we may not respect it, but there's a demand for it. But it's like when I was a little kid, I also thought wrestling was real. And that's how a lot of these fucking 25-year-olds think this shit is. They're like, oh, this is real boxing. It's not. It's fucking WWE.
Exactly what I'm saying, right? So, like, people are sitting there acting like this is legit. These are the best MMA strikers versus the best No, it's not. Thank you. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it's real to me is the old wrestling meme. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, I got to spar with the brothers. So I was we'll rewind a little bit more. I was at the MMA Junkie Awards or something in Vegas, and some guy said, "Hey, you look familiar. Are you someone?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Smiling Sam Alvey." And he kind of looked me up and down. And he said, "Hey, do you know who Logan Paul is?" And I said, "I'm sorry, sir. I have no idea. I've been around the sport for a long time." He said, "Oh, well, he's kind of a big YouTube guy." Oh, okay. So then I'm talking to the guy and I'm like looking him up. It's like, holy God, this guy's got 20 million whatevers on YouTube and Twitter and all that. That's incredible. So, well, hey, he's got a boxing fight coming up and you're about the right size. Would you come out and spar with both the brothers? I said, sure. I gave him my number. Milton was his name. I gave Milton my number and I didn't expect to ever hear from him again. And a few weeks later, he called. He said, hey, the Logan brothers or the Paul brothers would love to have you out. I said, okay, cool. Just tell me when and where. So we set it up. I pulled up to their house, still not really knowing who the guys are. And they live in a castle, or at least they did when they're in California. I pulled up and they had 5 or 6 cars right in my house. I mean, it was incredible. I got into their house. They had an Olympic-sized boxing ring in their living room. It was just nuts. So I, said hi to everyone. Apparently the lead actress for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was there. I didn't know the show at the time. I did watch the show. It's a good show after a while. But I got in and shook everyone's hands and and then I got to spar Logan. And Logan, very athletic. He was like built like he's an athlete. And so he was throwing. I always say the two most dangerous people in any gym is the guy that just walks in and any girl ever, because neither of them know how hard they hit. And Logan is swinging like a guy who just walked in and whoa, everything he got from every angle. And I was doing the best I could to be just a good punching bag, just someone to give him work. I understand I'm the pro and he's the guy trying to be a boxer. And I end up sticking this jab, boom, and it catches him and it walks him back. Oh, and I'm like, oh God, I killed him. Oh God, I broke his jaw. I was so worried. And so he took some time, and then he got back in and finished his rounds. And it's like, wow, that was something else. I was really impressed with him for not staying down, because I every now and then you make contact with a punch, and you'll know it's too hard. It's like, ooh, I'm sorry, this was that punch. And he was cool.
There's that freeze too, where like, is he gonna come back at me hard too, or are we gonna? Am I saying sorry? Like, yeah.
But hey, respect for that, right?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I haven't told this story much, like ever, because it happens in the gym, stays in the gym. But this was 6 or 7 years ago. Maybe if we were to fight again, he'd kick my ass. I don't know. This is just one time he hadn't boxed yet.
Let's find out.
Just learning how to do it, and I hit him. He headbutted my fist a little harder than he probably meant to, and I'm really. I love the experience, but because of that one punch, Jake wouldn't spar me, and I was really disappointed. So I went out there, I got my, I think it was like 6 or 7 rounds in, and then I got to sit around their house for a little while longer, watch Jake hit mitts, but he wouldn't spar me because of that punch.
That's actually funny as fuck.
That is
Sam Alvey set down Jake unintentionally.
Logan.
No,
Logan.
set down Jake with a
Jake
punch.
or Logan?
No, do you not get what I'm saying, man? He set them both down because then Jake didn't want a piece of it by the end. And like, we're not talking shit, but they were still so new, man. And I got to give it to those kids. Like I said at the beginning, Jake's the better boxer for sure. Logan, you're correct. I mean, that dude, like, you're correct about Logan. I'm not calling you Logan, but like, that dude's like, I mean, he's probably on some gear, but I don't give a fuck. You're a YouTube star. I don't give a shit what you do. But no, they've always had. Not so much Jake. I feel like Logan's. Oh, he wrestled in high school or something. But that's a crazy story to have.
Yeah,
he might have wrestled in college. Wow.
Yeah, and then he became a millionaire with his YouTube thing. So
he does WWE now.
Yeah,
he's actually good at it. He's good.
Oh, he's great.
I've seen like a couple clips. I don't like WWE. I don't
either. But
I don't care about
good
it.
at what he does. You know what I mean?
He does some flying shit that even I was like, damn. Yeah. Oh, that word.
He and Ricochet. It was the Royal Rumble. He and Ricochet did jumped off the top rope on other end.
Was that the one where
of the ring? Boom! Bounced off it. Right middle of the ring. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the WWE.
Bro,
it was incredible. And this was like
I remember that one.
Ring.
Yes, I remember specifically that, and I was like, damn.
Let us make this well known that we're huge Paul brother fans. And we love BETR. And if you guys want to sponsor the podcast, we're all about it.
Have you seen the dude who goes, "Yeah, I'd beat your ass"?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke.
People hate it.
Doesn't matter.
Derek
doesn't matter.
From BETR has ruined. It does matter because if everyone goes, "Oh, okay, BETR, Steak, or DraftKings, which one am I going to download?" Oh, BETR, like that dude Derek from that shit. Fuck that guy. No, it does matter.
They're going to think of us three from here on out.
Well, see, that's different. Yeah, they make we go, okay, guys.
Sam, tell him to shut up.
We're gonna do
BETR,
a whole thing.
If BETR strokes us a fat check, Sam, what do? We cash it, don't we?
Take the fat check.
We don't worry about fucking the nerdy guy from fucking BETR asking questions in the audience. We can care less.
Bro, BETR, no, that company can suck it. If you're hiring that dude as your guy's social implant, no, they're doing
what
something
are you talking about? We're just talking about a fucking sponsor for the show. We're not trying to replace you, Mac. All right, Mac Malley.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Derek from BETR.
That dude has ruined that person's, like, that company's branding on social media. You say BETR now and you go, oh, like that fucking kid. Ugh.
Well,
no one wants to.
They'll figure that out and they'll fucking fire him and move on. And maybe you're the next. Maybe you're the next Derek.
I don't know if I'd take that as a compliment or either way. All right, word. I'm just saying. fuck
BETR if you're watching. I'll be the next Derek. I'll do it.
Yeah. Sam's like, fuck it. I'll fucking meet Derek.
Oh,
yeah. What kind of dumb questions you want me to ask? I'll ask him. All right, boys.
Derek,
good episode.
Sam isn't 110 pounds and looks like the absolute biggest pussy in the world, talking mad shit to some. No, bro, I'm telling you, watch.
Mac is really upset about this Derek kid
because that's on the streets, man, on the social media streets. No, they ruined that.
I want y'all to clip this section here. We need a Mac versus Derek battle off.
Me and Bane were trying to get that to work, and he went private. This is all old news.
Yeah, clip that shit. Clip that shit. Mac.
Okay, Derek, watch. Go ahead and clip this. Derek from BETR bullshit. Whatever. Get in the ring with Bane. Don't go on private after you talk all that shit.
Why don't you get in the fucking ring with him?
Because I'm double his size.
Sounds like
I'm double his size.
Take it. It's the rule of every MMA class I've ever taught. Never pick on someone bigger than you.
That is not the number one rule.
Then why is Mac punching down to 120?
I'm signing my boy up. I'm saying
Punch
fight
lower,
my boy.
punch
It's a
lower.
fair fight.
But Mac and I are gonna fight. I'm not fighting Nagano.
Oh, so you're saying I should
Punch smaller
okay.
than you.
All right, you beat my ass. I beat Derek Better's ass. All
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Never pick on someone bigger than you, only smaller than you.
All right, boys, let's sign off.
All right.
Another episode of fucking Overdogs. Great one. I think we're filming with John on Friday,
Sweet.
so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We got to bring up how Bo smashed him in the wrestling.
Mac, he wants you to sign off with your YouTube and shit.
I don't have a YouTube, but I will tell you this.
I think he's saying
does have a
hours.
podcast.
Hours, you fucking.
I was getting to it, man. It was going to be an underhanded pitch. You've never seen softball before? All right, peep this. Guys. Wait, are you guys still here? Am I pitching this still? Okay, I think I'm still pitching this. You guys can't just exit the call. I didn't know what was happening. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to another episode of OverDogs Podcast. It's pretty good stuff. We have only legends on here. Bo Nickel, undefeated. You heard Ice Bagz just say it. We might have someone even more goated next week. We're going to have to talk about their grappling exchanges. Do not forget, follow us on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Hit the follow, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back with more banger content at least once a month before these banger numbered UFC pay-per-views. We will see you guys next time. Mac Malley out.